What's up everybody, I'm SuperSonicJB. 10 years of this channel being on YouTube. Can you believe that? Man, I feel so old right now. Now, I want to celebrate this special occasion somehow, but I'm not really sure what I should even do. Maybe I'll just take a drink of milk and see if that solves the issue. That doesn't look like milk to me. I mean, to be fair, this game does get milked a lot. What's the best way for me to celebrate 10 years of SuperSonicJB? I don't know. Play this shit? One of my all-time favorite video games ever made is Persona 5. This game has held a special place in my heart for years. See, I didn't play too many JRPGs back in the day. The only ones that I played were Final Fantasy VII and Chrono Trigger, and the Mario RPG games if you count those. I didn't really even know why I wasn't playing that many JRPGs back then, but then I heard about this new game called Persona 5 that was coming out soon, and when I saw some gameplay of it on YouTube, I knew I had to try and play it. And yeah, I eventually got the game and was blown away by how good it was. It had such a great cast of characters, awesome gameplay, a fantastic story, amazing music, heck even the menu screens were cool. Who knew pausing a game could be so awesome? Now yes, Persona 5 was my introduction to the Persona series, just like most of the actual fanbase, but the series has been going on for 30 years now, and it's become one of the most popular JRPG series of all time. The series really went mainstream with Persona 5 releasing in 2017, bringing in a whole bunch of new fans. But it first became popular when Persona 3 came out back in 2006. It revitalized the series by adding social links, which are like these bonding sessions with different characters in the game, and spending time with these characters gave you bonuses in battle and other stuff. Persona 4 and 5 also used this mechanic and became so popular that many, and I mean many games followed in their footsteps and added in a bonding system in their games. Anyways, I played through many of the Persona games. Well, except 1 and 2. But those never got a modern console re-release, plus they didn't age very well. This is why they need remakes. Come on, Atlas! Anyways, one thing's for sure though, Persona 5 became so popular in the gaming industry, Atlas decided to make a bunch of sequels and spin-off games based on it. Over the last 9 years, we got several Persona 5 themed video games, and the series also had a ton of crossovers and other video games too, with the biggest one being adding Joker to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a playable character. He was also added to tons of mobile games that soon died not too long afterwards, and it's honestly gotten to the point that Persona 5 is one of the most milked video games out there right now. Up there with Final Fantasy VII and Nier Automata. Joker is pretty much everywhere you look nowadays. What are you doing in there? Even still though, I love Persona 5, so I thought it'd be a fun idea for me to review all the Persona 5 video games. I mean, I did it with Final Fantasy VII a few years ago, so why not with this game? Now, I'm only going to be taking a look at the games themed around Persona 5, so none of the other Persona games, nor any of the mobile game crossover games, will be on this list. Also, I will not be taking a look at Persona Q2. Sure, it has Persona 5 characters in it, but it's not really a Persona 5 themed video game. Basically, I'm just going to be looking at games with Persona 5 in the title. Here's the list of the games that we're taking a look at today. I'll talk about each game and say if they're any good or not. So without further ado, let's go ahead and review every single Persona 5 video game. The first game we're going to be taking a look at is the original Persona 5. This game was released back in 2017, though 2016 for Japan. And my god, did it take forever to come out. I mean, it was supposed to come out in 2014, but got delayed so much, people thought it was never going to come out. It was the Persona 6 before Persona 6 was even a thing! The only thing we got from it news-wise was a picture of some chairs and shackles. Ah, yes, prison. Eventually though, it finally came out and became a huge success. I'm not kidding when I say it basically revolutionized the JRPG genre. So what is the game like, you may be asking? Well, it follows the adventures of a relatively silent protagonist who can be named whatever you want, but his codename is Joker. Joker is the leader of a group called the Phantom Thieves, who are basically heroes who steal the hearts of bad people. And no, I don't mean they literally steal their hearts. That would be kind of freaky. No, they basically go inside these places called palaces, located in this place called the Metaverse. Then they steal some kind of treasure that their target holds dear to their heart. This will cause a change of heart and will make the bad people change their ways and become a better person. Yeah, it's a little confusing, but as you play through the game and the character explains it to you for the 5th time in a row, then you'll start to get it. So the game starts off in a casino, where our main character Joker is trying to escape from his Secret Service agents, ripped straight from Men in Black. He navigates around a casino, where the game gives us some basic tutorials on how to play, but more on that later. He eventually gets surrounded and captured, and they bring him to an interrogation room, where he meets the character Sai Nijima, who asks him to tell her everything that's been going on with his life recently, and how he became a Phantom Thief. The story then follows its back and forth formula, where you do things in the past, and then you jump forward to the interview with Sai. So basically, after you complete an important dungeon, or you go through an important cutscene, you jump back to the present, where Sai is questioning you. Honestly, I think this whole jumping back and forth thing is pretty cool, and a pretty creative decision that the devs made. Anyways, when we jump back into the past, we learn that Joker is a high school student who recently got into some legal trouble after he tried to stop a man from forcing himself on a woman. I mean, all he did here was turn him around and then the drunk guy fell down and hit his head. Yeah, my man's definitely not at fault here. The guy sues him, and this leads to Joker becoming a criminal. Now, he's left his hometown and is transferred to a new school, and he'll be living a new life. He ends up moving into this cafe called LeBlanc, which I still find it weird it's not pronounced LeBlanc, especially given the spelling and everything. And this cafe is owned by a middle-aged man named Sojiro, who basically becomes your caretaker. He's kind of a dick to you at first.
Wondering what kind of unruly kid would show up. But you're the one, huh?
You go to a school called Chujin Academy, but on your first day, you and a guy named Ryuji end up getting sent to an alternate universe where you get attacked by some knights and their king named Kamoshida, who turns out is an asshole teacher at your school. Kamoshida and his knights then try to kill you, but then some mysterious voice calls out to you and basically asks you if you want to save yourself and Ryuji. And when you accept, you receive a cool mask, and when you rip it off, you get these cool powers, and a tall, shadowy being named Arsene appears. This is your persona, who is awakened from your heart and will let you use attacks using magical abilities. This is one of the main gimmicks of the game, but again, more on that later. Anyways, you manage to escape from Kamoshida and the Knights, meet a talking cat named Morgana, and escape back into the real world. And awkwardly go to school when you see the guy who basically just tried to kill you. Yeah, it's a little weird. Now, the game's story is very long, and I mean very long, so let me just shorten it down to give you a basic breakdown. Stay works on a calendar system, and every month or two, as you focus on taking out a new villain, a new person will join your party, and you'll get to learn more about their backstory, they'll awaken to their persona, and you'll change a villain's heart in the end. All of this happens when you're living an average school life, going to school, taking exams, etc. And you can do other things like get a part-time job, hang out with friends, go shopping, etc. Doing things will make the time pass in the game, and you'll have to stop all the bad guys you're up against by certain deadlines, or else it's game over. The calendar system is honestly a really fun mechanic that adds a lot of strategy to this game. You need to plan out how you want to spend your time, because your time is very limited in this game, and if you want to get everything done on time, it can be kinda hard. It literally says take your time in the bottom right hand corner of loading screens. That tells you a lot. What really sucks is when your talking cat Morgana constantly tells you to go to bed when you just want to go out and do stuff. Yeah, Morgana saying to go to bed was always one of the most annoying things this game had going for it. Thankfully, they toned him down in Royal. Anyways, as you progress through the game's story, you unlock new party members, each containing their own unique movesets and weapons. First you meet Ryuji and Morgana, then you meet An, then you meet Yusuke, Makoto, Futaba, Haru, and Akechi. Each character has their own unique story, but one similar theme that they all share is the fact that they've been treated like crap by one of the game's many villains. Like An was sexually harassed by Kamoshida, and Yusuke was being taken advantage of by his own mentor. Seeing the characters awaken to their personas is such a cool moment that games like Persona 3 really missed out on, considering almost all of those happened off screen. Now, one of the best parts of Persona 5 is the combat. It's a turn-based JRPG with multiple different options to choose from. You can do a normal melee attack, use items, guard, use special attacks with your persona, use your gun to fire long-range attacks, and order around your party members, follow certain commands. The main thing you'll be using to attack is your persona. Now, your party members have specific moves that they can use, and as they level up, you get new moves. But Joker is a little bit different. He can use multiple personas, not just Arsene. He can get even more personas by either knocking foes down in battle and interrogating them. They can join you if you make the right choices, but they can also just give you items or money, or just say, screw it, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, I don't like it when they do that. But you can also make a persona in this place called the Velvet Room, which is like this blue tinted prison room that you can enter in through your dreams. Or right in the middle of a sketchy alleyway, you can talk to this ugly guy with a huge nose named Igor, and these short twins named Caroline and Justine, who will help you fuse personas, make them stronger, etc. Fusing personas can be tricky at first, but once you start to get the hang of it, it can be really fun. And as you play onto the game's story, you can get even more slots that you can carry more personas in. Personas use all kinds of elemental attacks, like fire, ice, wind, etc. But they can also use physical attacks, which does drain your health a little bit, but can also deal great damage, and they can do stab buffs, enhance your abilities, etc. Now, if you exploit an enemy's weakness, you can knock them down, where the game will then give you another turn, where you can attack again yourself or do a baton pass, which lets another party member do a follow-up attack. This is such a great feature that they added to this series. If all the enemies are knocked down, you have the option to do an all-out attack, which involves your party members all attacking at once, and whoever did the last attack will be put on the screen in this cool finisher screen. That's become pretty iconic in the gaming industry. The combat may seem overwhelming at first, but you'll get used to it in time. Something to keep in mind though, using Persona attacks uses up either your skill points or your health. You can use items to refill these, but keep in mind, getting items to refill your SP/skill points is kinda hard and may cost you a lot of money. You can get some SP refill items at vending machines, but they don't really refill much. And the items that restore more are rare and cost a lot of money. You can get some equipment that restores health and SP, which can help a little bit. Besides the combat, you can also run around and jump across areas in dungeons, and you can break things and ambush enemies. Each dungeon, or palace, has its own unique theme, with unique puzzles and enemies to fight. They all have a boss to fight after you find the enemy's treasure, and these boss fights are mostly pretty fun. They have different attacks, and if you're not careful, some attacks can wipe out your entire party. My favorite fight in the game for sure has to be against Shido, because of all the different phases he goes through and how he constantly changes up his attacks, making you need to plan out your next move. Of course, all bosses can't be great. Okumura's fight is basically just an enemy gauntlet on a timer that keeps going during cutscenes, which is total BS! Madarame's fight also sucks with how you need to attack multiple portraits, but certain attacks are ineffective against certain portraits. Other than those two, I'd say all the other bosses are really cool though. You can also fight these mini bosses in this place called Mementos, where you drive around in this bland and boring area and grind for a while until you reach a floor that your target is on. These mini bosses are basically part of side quests in the game, where someone is basically being evil to someone else and you need to fix them. I'll be honest here, Mementos is just a really boring place filled with enemies that just acts like this game's dungeon crawler spot where you can grind. You have to go here too in order to take on the game's final boss. I don't like it, and I'd say it's one of my least favorite parts in the entire game. But you want to know what one of my favorite parts in this game is? The confidants. Or as they say in Persona 3 and Persona 4, the social links. In this game, there's several important characters that you can create bonds with and learn more about their stories. There's multiple confidants in this game, and you can rank them up all the way to 10. Hanging out with them leads to you learning more about them in the cutscene, and it helps you get to know that character. Certain parts of their rank will give you rewards too, that can help you during combat. I absolutely love these bond stories, because they all tell unique stories, and it acts like a nice little break from all the fighting you do in the other parts of the game. These character bond stories became so popular, multiple other JRPGs started doing a similar system like this in their games. I'm a big fan of the confidant system in this game, and I love most of the other JRPGs that have similar mechanics to this. Another thing I want to talk about is the game's killer soundtrack. Holy crap, is it good! The game has several songs with lyrics in it that sound amazing. Each song fits the atmosphere that is played in perfectly. Some of my personal favorite songs in this game are the battle theme Last Surprise,
You never see it come back. You see that my mind is the best for eyes. You're done now. But the time is you, you're lost surprise.
Beneath the Mask, a theme that plays at nighttime,
I'm a sharpshooter at post masquerade, hiding both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a sharpshooter. What else should I be? Please don't take off my mask, revealing dark.
life will change the main theme of the game and the music that plays at important moments.
Right before your eyes, words just multiply. Got the flame right, it's time.
Rivers in a Desert, the boss scene that plays during the Shido fight,
A river in a dry land, the land is in a lost land. A heartbeat for a demon, a oasis in a strange land.
and there's so many other great songs to hear. This game definitely has one of the best soundtracks in gaming history, and I loved every second of it. There's also tons of different areas across Japan that you can explore in the game, which is pretty cool. There's other activities you can do like watch movies, go to batting cages, go out to eat, etc. Doing these activities can give you points for the 5 different stats in the game, these being knowledge, guts, proficiency, kindness, and charm. By ranking these stats up, you can access new confidants, do well in exams, and earn more money at part-time jobs. Maxing these stats out can be kinda hard and may take up most of your time during a playthrough of the game, but I'd say it's still worth it in the end. Now, there's a lot more I could say about Persona 5, but we'd be here all day and we have many more games to cover, so I'll just say this in the end. Persona 5 is an absolutely amazing game and one of the best JRPGs ever made. It's such a great game with an amazing story, awesome gameplay, and a fantastic soundtrack. But yeah, overall, it's a really awesome game that I highly recommend to anyone who's never played it. So yeah, that was Persona 5, and yeah, overall, I'd say it's a fantastic game, and I loved it a lot. But here's the thing though, Persona 5 was only available on PS3 and PS4. But down the line, they went ahead and made an enhanced version of the game called Persona 5 Royal. So why don't we go ahead and talk about that version of the game. So yes, up next we have Persona 5 Royal, which is honestly probably one of the most unnecessary games ever made. It's basically a remaster of Persona 5 with some additional content and quality of life improvements. It was released 3 years after P5 came out, which is honestly kinda ridiculous. Look, I get that Persona 5 did have some issues, but why did they need to remaster it only 3 years later? See, Atlus has a tendency to release a new game, then a few years later, they release a definitive edition / remaster of that game with even more content available. They did this for Persona 3 and 4, so of course they had to do it for Persona 5, right? Heck, fans got so used to Atlus releasing these definitive edition versions of their games that people stopped buying Metaphor ReFantagio a month after release, thinking they'd make a remaster of it. It still hasn't happened, but we'll see if it does. They really need to stop doing this because it can definitely harm their sales. So yeah, P5 Royal is basically the same game, but now it has a third semester that wasn't in the first game, and added 2 new characters, Kasumi and Maruki. Kasumi becomes a new party member, and Maruki is a confidant that you later go up against in the third semester. The third semester itself is pretty much the main reason why you buy this game in the first place. It adds a whole new dungeon, more time to do stuff, and we learn more about the new characters, Kasumi and Maruki. We also get to see more of Akechi, and we even get a brand new Bond story with him, which is pretty cool. Honestly, Akechi became much more of a better character in this game. He doesn't get redemption, no, he's still a psycho who hates her guts, and he acts like a pure edgelord.
You piece of shit! I'm gonna kill you!
Still though, his character arc and Bond story is so much better here. But even still, I don't think they should have made this into a whole new game and charged full price. I think it might have been better for the third semester to just be DLC for P5. Yeah, there are some new events like a school outing, but did the game really need a remaster like this? No, it didn't. At least Morgana telling you to go to bed got nerfed. The character art did get a slight upgrade, and there are a few new areas to explore. There's also this place called the Thieves' Den, which is a place where you and your friends can relax, view stuff, and play Tycoon, a fun little card game. Well, you'll probably hate your friends in the end.
I'll end this.
Oh, flushing that.
There's also these new items that you can get in palaces, called Will Seeds, that you can obtain to get rewards. There's also new personas, and some new boss fights against the past Persona protagonists. Now yeah, it does have some new stuff in this game compared to vanilla P5, but I still think this should have just been a DLC pack instead. Still though, it's a fantastic game, and this is definitely the best version of Persona 5 to play. Alright, that's the next game down, so what's next? Aw crap, not the dancing game. Wait, this game has VR? So yeah, up next we have Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. This is a spin-off game revolving around the Persona 5 characters dancing? What? Why did they take a turn-based JRPG and turn it into a dancing game? I have no idea. Oh, what's that? They did it with Persona 4 and added Hatsune Miku in the game. That's cool, but why does it exist? Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, which I'm just gonna call Persona 5 Dancing, is such a weird and bizarre game that honestly doesn't need to exist. I mean, why fight off evil shadows and bad guys when I can just dance my problems away? Anyways, onto the game, and of course, it starts out by playing an anime intro, just like the other 2 games we looked at today. The game starts off with the Fan of Thieves waking up in a dream world where they all been summoned by Caroline and Justine. Not sure if this game is canon or not. Now, if you're wondering why they're not Lavenza right now, it's because apparently they thought it would be easier to be separated for this occasion. I don't know how that makes any sense, but whatever. You know what else doesn't make any sense? the fact that they're competing against the Persona 3 and Persona 4 cast, but wouldn't the Persona 3 and Persona 4 characters be older in this? Considering those games take place years before Persona 5? I don't know, it really doesn't make any sense. But screw it, this is a dancing game for crying out loud. We're here for the dancing, not the story. The story itself revolves around the twins, bringing the Phantom Thieves into the new and improved Velvet Room, which has basically become a dance floor. They're in a competition against their older siblings, being Elizabeth, Margaret, and Theodore, who in case you don't know, are the Velvet Room attendants in Persona 3 and Persona 4. They're trying to see who has the best dancing group, so the twins want you to dance your hearts out, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the story. Yep, this game barely has any story at all. Now, there are these bond stories, called social events, for all the Phantom Thieves and the twins, but these aren't nearly as good as the confidants from Persona 5. They're more like fun interactive sessions between Joker and a character that you choose. These scenes can be pretty funny though, and there's even some cool interactions between some characters.
That drawer is looking mighty suspicious.
Sakamoto-kun? Should a gentleman like yourself really be rummaging around an innocent woman's room? Maybe I'll fetch the axe.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
For real though, the main thing you'll be focusing on are the dance sessions. So in this game you can choose a specific song that was in Persona 5, and every level will automatically have set characters. So you can't pick and choose a character for a specific song, which honestly kinda sucks. You can also pick a costume for the characters to wear, and they can be unlocked by finishing songs and completing certain requirements. Social events can also be unlocked by completing certain songs and certain events, and you can also unlock a certain partner for a song. There's 3 difficulties to choose from, being easy, normal, and hard. Now, I suck at rhythm-based games, so I didn't even bother touching hard. As for the game's controls, they're exactly how you expect them to be. Just press the right button at the right time, and you'll get a good score. You can also hold a note for a bit, press L1 and R1 to hit these big scratch and fever notes, and as you keep hitting notes, fever mode will appear, and you'll be accompanied by a partner, and you can hit tons of notes and get loads of bonus points. Honestly, it's a pretty simple rhythm-based game to play, and after the song ends, you'll see how good or bad you did in the results screen. Now, there's a total of 26 songs in this game, plus some DLC songs as well. Most of these songs are ripped straight from Persona 5, and some of them have new remixes. But I'll be honest here, I wasn't a big fan of some of these remixes. Like for example, this game's version of Rivers in the Desert sounds kinda bad honestly. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel as powerful as the original song version did, and it's just such a disappointment. I will say, one of the main highlights of this game are the actual animations of the characters that happens in the background. Of course, sometimes you just see the characters dance like normal, but sometimes you see some really cool and creative cutscenes. Like this one with the boys robbing a bank, this one with the girls, dancing like that, sure. And of course, seeing Joker cross-dress. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that being a thing in this game. I mean, Link did it, then Mario did it, now Joker did it. But yes, the animations in this game are actually really awesome. It's too bad most everything else was just mid at best. Like, this game's not really bad or anything, it's just not that memorable at all. It mainly just feels like a cheap cash grab that Atlas made one day when they were bored, and I was not a big fan of this game.
Alright, so now that game's out of the way, we're going to go and take a look at the next game, which is Persona 5 Strikers. Now, unlike the last game, I'm really looking forward to covering this game, so let's check it out.
Up next, we have one of my personal favorites on this list, Persona 5 Strikers. This game is a direct sequel to Persona 5, taking place roughly around 6 months to a year after the game's story. Now, something to keep in mind, this is a direct sequel to Persona 5, not Persona 5 Royal. Kasumi and that third semester storyline don't exist in this universe, so keep that in mind when playing this game. This game plays similarly to the Dynasty Warriors and Hyrule Warriors games, but with a Persona 5 theme. The game focuses on the Phantom Thieves coming out of retirement and going on a road trip to steal the hearts of more evil people. You also get accompanied by 2 new characters who join the Phantom Thieves. These characters being Sophia, also known as Sophie, who is an AI girl who can travel with you in the metaverse, and Zenkichi, a police officer who teams up with the Phantom Thieves to help figure out the weird occurrences of people getting their hearts stolen across the country. Now, this game may not be as long as Persona 5, but it still is a pretty long hack-and-slash JRPG game lasting over 30 hours, and boy, is this game good. Let's change it up and talk about the gameplay first. This game plays like a hack-and-slash, where you fight off waves of enemies using your skills. You can do normal melee attacks, use your persona to perform special attacks that deal tons of damage, use your gun to attack, which is especially nice as you can fire your gun at an enemy from a distance to initiate the fight, and if you knock enemies down, you can perform an all-out attack that deals tons of damage. There's also this move called Showtime that returns to Persona 5 Royal, which lets a character perform a super attack that features a sick cutscene and can destroy any enemies in sight. There's also a bigger emphasis on parkour moves in this game, with you being able to jump on poles and lampposts and strike an enemy down from high up. You can also dodge attacks by rolling, jump, and use items on the fly. The combat itself is really fluid and is so much fun. The best part is the fact that it plays more like a Persona game than a Dynasty Warriors game, with the main focus being on using your Persona. Honestly, I actually like this game even more than any of the Dynasty Warriors or Hyrule Warriors games. It feels more unique and is more strategy besides just mash the attack button. Now, of course, one of the most important things for a Persona game is its storyline. Well, maybe not for P5 dancing, but whatever. The game starts off with Joker and Morgana turning back to Levon after being gone for a while. The Phantom Thieves and Sojiro decide to throw a party for his return over summer vacation. But one day while Joker, Ryuji, and Morgana are out getting supplies, they end up in this gathering for a famous celebrity named Alice. She gives Joker and some other guys some kind of invitation with a keyword on it, and when they say the keyword into their new AI smartphone app named Emma, who, fun fact, is voiced by Susan Bennett, who is the original voice of Siri, they then get sent into the metaverse, where the three of them see the other guys who got Alice's invitations, getting their hearts taken by some shadows. So now we get to jump into the first fight in the game. Well, technically the second, but that first fight was more like a demo in all honesty, and my god, this entire fight sequence is absolutely amazing. It teaches you how to play the game and what other cool combos you can do. And the music, my god, the music is fantastic! A remix of Last Surprise plays here, and it's without a doubt the best version of the song. Just take a listen.
You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for life. You're done. Your last surprise.
Anyways, the three of you get captured and meet Shadow Alice, who steps on you? Hey man, I'm not one to judge, but I don't think Joker is that kinky. Then, like a bunch of other dumb bad guys, she throws you out where you pretty much escape. You also end up finding this weird shaped box, and inside this box is this living 3D robot AI girl named Sophia. Turns out she lost her memories, but she decides to give you a hand because she's Sophia, humanity's companion.
I am Sophia, humanity's companion.
So yeah, Sophie also has powers herself, so she helps you out during fights, and you can even play as her. Her signature weapons are yo-yos, which is pretty funny. Oh no, she's walking a dog on them! Anyways, you manage to find an exit back to the real world, and when we return, we find Sophia is on Joker's phone. Turns out her physical body cannot leave the metaverse. So we end up telling our friends about what happened and introduce Sophie to them. So we end up deciding that we need to change Alice's heart, and we head back into her palace, her jail, to fight shadows, explore new areas, and change her heart. We also meet Zenkichi, a cop who's been investigating the recent changes to hearts of people across the country. The Phantom Thieves don't like him at first, but as we play on through the story, we learn more about Zenkichi's backstory, and he even saves our butts from the police. He also awakens a persona himself and becomes Wolf. I gotta say, Zenkichi is one of the best Persona characters in the entire series. His character development and story are really amazing. Plus, you get to play as an older adult character in a Persona game. It's awesome! Anyways, one of the main themes of this game is the fact that it's a road trip game. After you change Alice's heart, you travel across the country in an RV and change the hearts of more people in new areas. Basically, you go to a new city, find a new target, change their hearts, and once that's done, you travel to another city. As you're staying in that city, you can go shopping, view tourist attractions, etc. It's pretty fun seeing all the different areas that you can travel to, and they're all very unique and different from each other. This game does have a calendar system too, just like Persona 5 did, but the only way to forward time is to beat the target's jail and or continue playing to the game's plotline. There's no confidants in this game, which does kind of suck, but the story and gameplay definitely make up for it. Another thing that this game has going for it are the boss fights. They're really awesome. They're all unique and different from each other, and some of these fights are some of the best in the series, like the Shadow Joker fight and Konoe fight. Screw the Shadow Empress Mariko fight though. He sucks. The music in this game is also really good. It brings some new remixes of Persona 5 songs and plenty of new ones too. Now, one of the best improvements this game has over Persona 5 are the Phantom Thieves characters themselves. People complain that in Persona 5, the Phantom Thieves didn't really feel enough like friends. And once a new one joined your squad, all the older ones will get sidelined. Heck, some characters like Yusuke and Haru barely interacted with each other. But in this game, they heavily improved that. They really feel like friends here, and they're way more entertaining overall. Heck, one major complaint of P5 is the fact that Haru didn't get enough screen time, but this game gave her an actual character arc, which is great. Also, she's apparently a very dangerous driver. Just pointing that out.
You don't gotta be nervous. Just take it nice and slow.
Floor it?
Yes. No, don't floor it.
Floor it?
No, don't floor it.
Okay, floor it!
So yeah, in the end, I really love Persona 5 Strikers. I'd even say it's one of the best games in the entire Persona series. Sadly, I can't say the same thing about the next game on this list.
So yeah, Persona 5 Strikers is an awesome game without a doubt, and honestly does a lot of things better than Persona 5 actually did. So up next we're going to be taking a look at... Oh yeah. I forgot about this game's existence.
So yeah, up next we have Persona 5 Tactica. Right off the bat, I just gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of this game. This is a tactical JRPG game where you move characters on a map by placing them in a specific spot. I've said it many times before on this channel, but I've never been the biggest fan of tactical RPGs. When I learned about this upcoming P5 game being a tactical RPG, it kinda turned me off. I don't know, these types of games had never really been for me. But I still bought the game anyways, for some reason. I don't know why though. Now, as you can see, this game has a completely different art style from the rest of the P5 games. It feels like a combination of the Persona Q games mixed with some old school cartoon style. I'll be honest, I don't really like this new art style very much. It just looks kinda weird, and I feel like it doesn't fit the series very well. Apparently, I'm not the only one who doesn't like the art style in this game, as a lot of people online also hate it. The game didn't really sell that well too, apparently. Maybe it was because of the art style, or maybe it was because of the gameplay, or maybe it's because people were getting tired of Persona 5 spin-off games and just wanted Persona 6 already. I have a feeling it was all the above. So again, let's just jump straight into talking about the gameplay. In this game, you can have up to 3 people in your party and select one of your characters and have them move from one spot on the map to another. You can take cover behind walls and other objects to block enemy attacks, and each attack you use has a certain range and can be used to fire at an enemy. You can deal damage up close with melee attacks, use your persona, fire your gun, etc. You also get more movement options by being able to actually run around part of the map without having to select a certain spot, which is nice. Melee attacks also send enemies flying away, and you can knock them out by being behind cover. If you're positioned in a triangle around your teammates, and you knock the enemy down, you can perform an all-out attack. So yeah, it's got your normal P5 mechanics. Your goal in each level is to kill all the enemies, or try to escape. So yeah, the gameplay in itself is fine, but it's just too slow and boring for my liking. And that's saying a lot because P5 is a turn-based JRPG. The gameplay especially gets really repetitive and frustrating in the later half of the game, where you have to move around and take cover in very specific spots in order to stay alive. Plus you fight some really annoying enemies and bosses. So you're probably wondering, is the story any good at least? Well, it's okay, I guess. It focuses on the Phantom Thieves relaxing with blonde one day, and then they get sent to another dimension that has been taken over by some evil lady named Marie. She captures everyone except Joker and Mona and brainwashes them to follow her commands. Just as she's about to get us, a woman named Irina comes out of nowhere and helps us escape. Turns out she's the leader of a resistance and is trying to free the people that Marie has captured. So we team up with her and set off to rescue our friends. We also come across this politician from our world who was brought here named Toshiro. There's more to Toshiro's story, and we find out that Marie is actually his bride, but he doesn't want to marry her. I can see why. Once you beat Marie, you travel to a new area that's being taken over by a different evil ruler. This mechanic repeats several times in the game, similarly to the other games we talked about earlier. Beat a bad guy, go to a new place. Do several missions, beat another bad guy, and learn more about Toshiro and Irina. Now I'll admit, the story does have some good moments and plot twists, but I still didn't find it as interesting or entertaining as P5 or Striker's storyline. The music is good in this game, but none of the new songs really stood out to me too much, besides the main theme. So yeah, in the end, I thought Persona 5 Tactica was just okay. The gameplay works and everything, but it gets so repetitive and frustrating that I started to hate it as I continued playing through the game. It also drags on for far too long, and while the story has some good moments, it's not really that amazing. And yeah, I still hate this art style being used for a Persona game, of all things.
Alright, so we only have one more game left here today. Now this one's a little bit of a weird one. It's a Persona 5 gacha game, which is kind of weird considering I never thought in a million years Persona 5 would get its own gacha game. But anyways, let's check it out.
So out last but not least, we have Persona 5 The Phantom X, a mobile gacha game released in 2025. Now when I first heard about this game, I was skeptical about the idea. a Persona 5 gacha game sounds like a pretty bad idea, especially for someone like me who's not the biggest fan of gacha games. I mean, how exactly would you turn a game like Persona into a gacha game? By changing the formula and making it way harder to play. That's how. Now this game is considered a Persona 5 game, but here's the thing. It follows an entirely new cast of characters becoming fan of thieves and changing the hearts of evil people. So we have a Persona 5 game where the fan thieves we all know and love aren't the main characters. No, they get replaced with these similar-like characters who honestly kinda just feel like rip-off versions of the Phantom Thieves. I mean, this owl character here named Lufo is pretty much just a copy of Morgana, and the protagonist himself, codenamed Wander, is pretty similar to Joker in a lot of ways. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not a big fan of the whole replacing the main cast of Persona 5 here. I mean, sure, the Phantom Thieves are in the game as characters you can attain, but they're not the main characters. Look, if you want a new cast of characters for a Persona gacha game, then don't have the name Persona 5 in the game's title. Like, just have it be a brand new Persona game, but with gacha mechanics. Maybe instead of the characters being Phantom Thieves, they could be something else instead, like D&D players, I don't know. The game starts off with you actually getting to play as Joker in the P5 opening cutscene. But the sequence doesn't last long, as Joker meets Wander and ends up getting in a fight with him. Joker ends up getting hurt, and Wander shoots him in the head, but then wakes up from a dream. Sheesh, and I thought I had nightmares. You later go to school, and when that's done, you ride a train where you meet a talking owl named Lufo, who ends up coming to Mementos with us after you get a weird app on your phone and accidentally press it. In Mementos, you get attacked by some shadows and awaken to your persona. Then the game teaches you how to play. The combat is similar to Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal, with it being turn-based. You can use melee attacks, pawn your persona, use your gun, use items, etc. There's even this new thing called a highlight skill, which can be used when your highlight bar is filled up. The skill itself is basically a showtime move from Royal and Strikers. There's also a support move you can use, but you won't have that unlocked at first. I will admit the combat's pretty good. I mean, P5 had perfect combat already, so I'm kinda glad it went with this turn-based JRPG combat again. Now, I'll be honest, I've only just started playing this game recently for this video, so I don't have that much to say about the game yet. I think the story itself is up and down in terms of quality. It starts out kinda rough, especially during the whole subway slammer arc. Good god, this has to be one of the dumbest villains ever created in Persona history. Oh no, a villain who slams into people, what are we gonna do? But thankfully after that arc, the story does get better. So you can pull characters and weapons on banners. Some characters are brand new characters, and some others are past Persona characters, like Joker or Skull. There are confidants in this game, which is cool, and the music is really good too. The gacha mechanics can be kind of annoying, but here's the thing, if you're used to gacha games, this game really isn't even that bad. I mean, honestly, I don't even think the game's bad. I'm just not a big fan of gacha games. Even still though, after playing some of it, I didn't think it was as bad as people online claim it is. It just wasn't my kind of game, and I'll just leave it at that.
So that was every single Persona 5 video game out there. And again, I'm only counting the games that have Persona 5 in the title. I will say, some of these games were really high quality, and some others were kind of a letdown. Still though, to think Persona 5 basically helped me actually love JRPGs, I gotta give it credit where credit is due. I will admit, the game does get milked a lot, and who knows, maybe there's gonna be even more Persona 5 spin-off games sometime in the future. But with Persona 6 finally getting confirmed to be real, who knows if we'll ever see another Persona 5 themed video game ever again. Who am I kidding? They're probably gonna release more. Heck, I can see now, during my YouTube 20th anniversary, I'll review even more Persona 5 themed video games.
Right before